guys, we're back again. We're doing some more content on Jusuf Nurkic. If you haven't checked out our last video, just general video, if we think he'll stay in Portland, do check it out. We're addressing this topic again because we do think that there's one specific team, the only Canadian team who's always got a special place in our heart, the Toronto Raptors. If you know what, maybe you're right. I see your face. Maybe they won't be Canadian again next year, but in general, Canadian team here. Jusuf Nurkic, I think he could be a great fit there. I'm not a huge believer in that roster right now, as you probably know, but I think with him there, I would lean towards them being a playoff team again, with or without Kyle Lowry.
Well, it's we can't speak on what's going to happen in the Kyle Lowry situation, right? So, but it's if they're able to pull this one off, and they can still keep their core of Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, and Gary Trent Jr. for that matter as well. That's a very good starting five. That might not be a starting five that you have a top 10 player in the league, but if all your players are above average, that means something. There's no teams in the league really have that going for them right now, where every single player in the starting lineup is an above average / potential could be all-star. If Nurkic plays up to his full potential, he's an 18 and 12 guy who also gets 3 to 4 assists a game. That is an all-star, and I think that he would really go a long way on that team. If he doesn't make those comments that just happened recently, I love how much power the players have nowadays. So if he doesn't make those comments, then there's no way that Portland would even think about trading. It's just wouldn't be a thought right now. But because he makes those comments, he knows he holds the power. He knows he doesn't have to play for Portland. He doesn't need to if he doesn't want to. And if he thinks that this is a better team for him, which I think it would be, because they play more of a team-oriented, hard hustle, defensive kind of game. And I think that's kind of what he wants right now.
Yeah, and I agreed, and I said it in our last video that I think San Antonio is a good fit because they do all the little things right. In Toronto, for the most part, last year, obviously a lot of games they didn't, but in general, their system is tailored around the same thing, just playing good basketball, and that's what he is. He's a good basketball player. He makes teams a lot better on both ends of the court, specifically defensively, which is something the Raptors traditionally are very good at, and they struggled at last year. Rebounding, they weren't very good as well, and he holds teams. And he does help hold teams to a lot less offensive rebounds, which would be very, very big for them, both in the regular season and playoffs. And another reason I like him there is, like you mentioned, they would be very consistent across the starting five. And for a team that always has injury issues with these guys, that's what you need. Because if you have two guys every night, per se, after the first month of the season who aren't playing, and you have some variation of three still really good players in that lineup, you have a chance to win every night. And right now, when you're interchanging guys like Chris Boucher, as good as he is, Aaron Baines, etc., you do have a lot less of a chance of winning, as easy as it sounds to say. But those guys aren't putting you in the same position that a guy like Jusuf Nurkic can.
And he's a potential all-star. That's exactly as much. I hate saying that about someone like Chris Boucher because he is a monster with his blocks. He does have really good shooting games. He really stepped it up really hard last year. He actually averaged more points than Nurkic did. But with that being said, I don't see Chris Boucher being an all-star level player. I do see Jusuf Nurkic being an all-star level player. And it's hard to say what it would take to get him there. He only has $12 million guaranteed, so it's not like matching would be a big issue. I think there's either two ways he's going to get there. I think it's going to be in a sort of kind of Chris Boucher related trade, just to fill a salary, or I would not. Either one of these options, I don't really like that much. So I hope that they can work another way around it. But I either think it's going to be a Chris Boucher related trade, or it's going to be part of a Kyle Lowry related package. Not saying Kyle Lowry is going to go to Portland, but that could be worked away in some kind of three-way deal because he's going to have a salary that we can work with to be able to trade away. If that's the case and we end up keeping Chris Boucher, I like that option, but I don't like it because we lose Kyle Lowry. And if we have to lose Chris Boucher to get him, I like that option as well. But again, I think there might be a better way than I can't think of right now. That's the two ways I can see it happening.
No, both are pretty realistic. Personally, like I do think Lowry's probably out the door, so I think the idea of structuring some type of trade around that is actually a pretty good idea. And I like Chris Boucher as the sixth man there because if again Nurkic with his injury issues, Siakam too, he's up and down. You have a good six man there who can start some games, and even if not, he's still a great guy, energy off the bench. Especially in the playoffs. Like I think he'd be a huge force if he actually gets to play big minutes in the playoffs again. And Gary Trent Jr. too with the Portland connection. When you could have guys who were previously on a team together, whenever that team was in a more positive space versus the negative space Portland is in right now, I think it boosts his morale in general. So I think he'd be happy to play there. And Europeans tend to love Canada as well. Again, it's simple to say that. It sounds cliche, but they are very similar in a lot of the ways that they do things. So I do think he would fit in very well in Canada, Toronto, whenever they move back as well.
And they're coming back, so I would love to see him there. And the two options, as we've mentioned, aren't the best options, aren't the most favorable options. Masai, if you can figure out another way, figure it out. But I would live with both those options for sure.
Yeah, I just again the Bosnian
Well worth
would
it.
not be afraid of the cold, so I can see him being a long-term option here.
Come on down. Come on down. That's all I gotta say.
Definitely, but let us know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you soon with some more content.